It has a decent little sound to it. Give you guys a couple revs here. It's back, baby. The 1100 is back, all fixed up. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are down here with both of the trucks. This is my 2019 Silverado 1500 LTZ Z71, and this is my 01 Dodge Ram 1500 V8 SLT. Today's video is a informative video about air intakes, and I'm probably going to make about 2 or 3 videos with some different information on it. Some of the information will kind of replay itself in 2 or 3 of the videos, but they're all mostly the same general information, but different questions and different opinions on what I think and what you guys may think. So with these 2 or 3 videos that I'm making for you guys today, I want you to leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. Tell me what vehicles you have, what cold air intakes you have, what you feel like is best for your specific vehicle, and tell me what brand of cold air intakes you guys have, on what vehicle, what year, and different stuff like that. Just make it a good conversation comment section. That's all that I ask for. And I also ask, if you wouldn't mind, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and that like button and that bell notification, let you know when I post videos. I got a lot of videos coming out this week and next week. Had a lot of stuff go on in my life, and this is where we're at right now with 2 pickup trucks. And I hope that my life continues to bless me. I am a believer in God, and I treat people the way I want to be treated, and God has blessed me back tremendously and over and beyond that. So today's video, I want to talk to you guys about which cold air intake performs best for performance, either a covered or uncovered filter housing. For me, I'm gonna say the covered filter housing. Why? Because cooler air, colder air, cold air intake. But let's go ahead and pop the hoods on both trucks, and we can get a closer look at what's going on and get going on some more information. We got both hoods popped here, so let's go over to the Dodge first and let's talk about this cold air filter. All right, so this is my 2001 Dodge cold air intake setup. All right, so we got our tube there, intakes up there on the housing, got our filter here. All right, this is what I mean by uncovered. All right, you see how we have these walls here? These are kind of like an extra step anyway without the walls, but we have our walls here. This is made to keep out some of the heat from the engine bay, but some of you guys don't have this, so let's just X-nay this for right now. So pretend that this is not here, these three walls, 1, 2, and 3. Pretend this is not here. So if you just have your tube and your filter, that is what I mean by open, okay, and uncovered. Let's go over here to our 2019 Silverado. This is what I mean by covered. We have our tube, intake, throttle body there. Our tube comes out to our covered filter. Our filter is inside of a housing. There it is right there. This is a cold air intake from Cold Air Inductions. This housing comes with the whole purchase and setup. The filter is covered up by this top mounting housing here. It is made so that it can work hand in hand with your factory intake that you take off to put this one on. Why? Because it has an inlet right here. This is the main inlet ram duct where air comes into when your hood is closed. So if we close the hood here, as you're driving down the road, air goes in there. Right through here, air goes up and comes down. It doesn't go here because we have this weather stripping right here and it's raised, and the hood sits on top of here. So pretend my hand is the hood. So the air goes straight down this way, hits the hood right here and goes straight down this way into this inlet. And then we have a tube down here, that 2-inch tube right there. Hopefully you guys can see that right there where my finger is pointing. That's a tube. And it goes straight into this air box. You see it right there coming right up to the air box, and it's an inlet down in there. If you guys don't know what that inlet looks like, make sure you watch this cold air intake install video and you'll see what it looks like. But it's right down in there, and the air comes up into the filter, goes into the filter, and goes straight out into the tube and into the throttle body and into your intake and engine. And this is what I mean by a covered filter. So we have over here on the Dodge Ram, pretend this is not here again. This is just my setup, but pretend this is not here because some of you guys don't have this. But an uncovered filter, cold air intake, uncovered cold air intake, and a covered cold air intake or cold air intake filter. Now, if you do have something like this, in my opinion, yay for you, good job. You know what you're doing. But if you don't, that's okay. That's why I'm making this video, to inform you guys and get your opinions about what you guys think. But for me and what I know this was a smart decision to put this 3-wall blocker here because the top of my hood here rests on this weather stripping. All right, it rests right here and it blocks most of the heat. Even when my engine is all the way at normal temperature, this is still cool to the touch, which allows my filter to continue to take in cool air. Yes, some hot air does seep in right there. This isn't suction cupped onto the tube or have any weather stripping on that hole there. So yes, in reality, some hot air will get in through right there and get sucked up through the air filter. It is what it is. But the main point is that most of the hot air is staying in the engine bay and not going into the air filter, into the tube, and then into the throttle body and intake and engine. All right, but just like on our 2019, we have an inlet, but on these older style trucks, they're right through this way here. All right, see that hole right there? That is where the air gets into on these older model trucks and older vehicles. So the air goes right in through our grill here, through these honeycomb grills, right through that airway here, and I'll show you guys where it comes out at right there. So the cold air from the wind as you drive goes in this pathway and comes out right here and gets sucked right into your cold air intake filter. Now, going back here quickly to the 2019, like I showed on the Ram over there, that a little bit of heat in reality, yes, will get into the air filter there. But now What the Ram doesn't have with that setup is this weather stripping that I said. You see that? That is suction cupped and tightly and secure onto the housing here, onto our tube. So that reduces the amount of heat that gets in from the engine bay. So let's go back over here real quick and see it. So you see how this one doesn't have any weather stripping and it's not suction cupped to the actual tube, and we have a gap there. Some heat will get in there, yes. But over here, it's more of a better setup because we have that weather stripping, so it's tightly secured to the tube, which doesn't allow heat to get inside the air filter. But also the main point is that this top housing box doesn't allow heat to get into the air filter, which means it's not going into your engine throttle body and engine intake and then your actual engine. And same thing with these walls over here, how it keeps out a majority of the heat from the engine bay and stays cool while the engine is still at its normal hot temperature, normal idling temperature. Same thing over here with this top bracket or top housing over here on the 2019 Silverado cold air inductions intake filter housing. It's the same material, made of the same thing. It stays cool while the engine is still hot so that it keeps the cold air cold inside this housing and goes into your filter cold and into your tube cold, which is made of the same material as well, and goes into your intake and engine cold. All right, so now looking at both of these different types of setups, as I explained it to you guys and showed you guys both of the different types of setups, let's go into the argument's sake of both of these setups and one setup that is not here, which is a fully uncovered air intake, which is the tube and filter alone with no covering and no walls. It's just the tube and the filter and nothing else around it. Let's get into that argument here. So the uncovered argument is the filter is taking in more air around it. With covered, you're only taking in air that comes through the port or ram air duct hole like we have over here in my 2019 right there, or the air inlet on the 2001 Ram over there that I showed you guys. Covered people, here's your argument. If you got a covered air intake housing like this on the 2019 Silverado, this is you guys' argument. Yes, you may be taking in more air around you, but does that mean much when 50% of that hot air from the engine? In my opinion, no. The uncovered counter argument is more air performance. The counter argument to the covered people, they would say something like this: more cold air, better performance. So who's right? In my opinion, I'm going with the covered over uncovered. As far as performance is concerned, yes, I'm definitely going with a covered. And now, if you're only concerned about sound, noise, yes, the uncovered sounds better in my opinion. So this is a slightly uncovered cold air intake setup. So this will sound a lot louder than this intake. Yes, the uncovered sounds better and is louder to where you can really hear it and still hear a decent sound of it while in the vehicle driving. But for me, I don't hear much of it because I have a loud exhaust on both of these trucks. For my 2001, I hear a little bit of it in the cab while I'm kind of smoothly accelerating down a street or a highway. But for the most part in the 2019, I don't really hear it because I have straight pipes on this truck. So for me, I don't hear much of it because I have loud exhaust vehicles. So for me, I'd rather have the bald eagles in my ear than air filter sound. Even though I could hear some decent amount of air intake whistle from the Dodge while giving it constant smooth throttle acceleration, but with the 2019 I can't really hear much of that because of the straight pipes. and the softer sound of the filter being covered, causing low noise volume to the ear. So basically, what do you guys think? Do you have a covered or uncovered air intake, and do you think one is louder than the other or outperforms one or the other? But the last thing before you guys comment, remember, I want you guys to comment. Tell me what you got. Tell me what vehicle you got, what kind of cold air intake you got, and if it's covered or uncovered, and your opinion about it. But the last thing I want to leave you guys with is think about this. Is it a coincidence that most of the high performance cars, drag cars, turbo cars have extra high-tech cooling systems added onto them to maintain extreme high performance and not overheat? Like C7s, Corvette Z06s had a problem with overheating that's now been fixed. Meaning, in this case, a covered intake filter taking in only cool air outperforms an uncovered filter that is taking in some cool air, yes, but hotter air as well from the engine bay. So with that being said, is it a coincidence that the higher priced cold air intakes come with closed covered air filter housings to have the filter only take in cool air from the outside of the vehicle, like most high-end performance cars and trucks? You guys tell me. Leave it in the comments below what you guys think. Is it better to have a covered cold air intake filter or an uncovered cold air intake filter that maybe has walls around it or no walls at all, and you're just taking in air from all over the place? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Keep it PG-13, please. This is a friendly kind of debate that I want to have with you guys. I really want to know you guys' opinions about what you guys think. Is it better to have a covered or uncovered air intake filter? Are you a person that would rather have noise over performance or performance over noise? You guys tell me. And another part of that you guys should know is what else you have done to your vehicles. Do you have a cam done to any of your vehicles? Do you have a loud exhaust done to your vehicles? Because that will play a factor on which one has that air intake noise that we all love. But for me, in my situation, in my 2019, I can't really hear much of my air intake because I got straight pipes on the truck. I hear more engine and more bald eagles coming from the rear of my truck than I do the air intake. But as far as my Dodge, I hear a good amount of this air intake, and it is slightly uncovered, just the top of it. But again, my hood rests on the top of it, so it kind of is covered. But if you're a person that doesn't have something like this, these walls, then you have a fully uncovered air intake, and I pretty much promise you that your air intake is louder and you can hear it. But for this, coming back to this to make another argument, if I took this housing off, I guarantee you it would sound just like that air intake over there on my Dodge Ram. Why? Because this top housing dampens the sound. But before I get too much into that, that'll be the next video that I'll talk to you guys about which one is louder. So make sure you guys tune into that video and I'll tell you guys which one is louder. So that's pretty much going to end this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on to the next video. It should be which intake is louder, a covered or uncovered cold air intake.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.